Hey, y'all. Long time no speak. Oh, I missed y'all. I have been down, going through an autoimmune flare. And so I have not made a video in a little while, but I'm still here. And I appreciate the messages you guys have sent me. I emailed, if you're on my list, I emailed you guys to let you know what was going on. And some of y'all are the sweetest ever, and I appreciate that. Today, I want to take a look at GBPUSD. We're going to start off on the monthly chart and then work our way down, see if we got anything cooking for the upcoming week, and kind of go from there. So, I am starting on the monthly, and I'm identifying swing highs and swing lows to mark off. And it's funny, in the coaching group, which I've been doing through the flare up, is I've gotten a question, well, you skipping over swing highs, you skipping over swing lows. Like, I'm not. We read charts from right to left. And so they would identify this as a high. They would identify this as a high. And they would have identified this as a high. That's a common mistake. When I first started trading this way, I too would do the same thing. But we read from right to left. And we don't want to go to old price to find resistance levels and support levels, if that makes sense. So I'm on the monthly chart. I've double checked. I've got my two outer bound levels that I'm looking at. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab this one too because it's right underneath. And then on the platform that I'm using, it allows me to double check my work, basically, right? And so the two levels we chose of support are there. You'll see that the black line popped up, that the system has identified those two. And then I'm gonna look at smart resistance and the one level I chose on the monthly time frame, that's there as well. So I'm gonna turn this off. And monthly chart, every candle is worth 30 days, or not 30 days, but trading days, 1 month worth of trading days of information. And so I don't want to go too high. I don't want to go too low, because as we drill down, that's information that we have to account for, right? So I'm going down to my weekly time frame, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to use my weekly color to come up with my support and resistance on this time frame. And essentially what we're doing, guys, is we're looking for areas where price has the potential to reverse, right? That's where we want to see where we are, because that's how we make our money. And so it looks like we have a swing low here. We got that low center candle, two to the left that are higher, two to the right that are higher. And then I don't think I see anything else right now. We do have a resistance level that I see here. And then this is still forming. So on the weekly, it hasn't formed yet. On the daily, we probably have a swing low. And so that's all I'm going to choose for this level. So I'm going to look smart support. Up, there's one more level that I missed. That's why I'm so grateful for this platform. It just helps me make sure all of my I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So we're good there. I'm going to look at smart resistance, and it looks like we're good there. So I'm done on the weekly time frame. I'm gonna go down to the daily. I'm gonna identify my key levels there, right? I'm looking for areas where price has the potential to reverse. And I've got it on the daily, right? We got another swing high here. And then remember that low that we were looking at on the weekly hadn't formed yet there, but we at least got it on the daily. And so there's nothing else in between this daily and this weekly level as it stands right now, but we do have a couple levels of support underneath that weekly low. And so I'm going to grab those, and then we're going to go down to the 4. We'll stop at the 4, and then we will, this is not a low, I don't think. Let's check and see. And then we'll start looking at our fibs. So, oh, it is a low. Okay. So I'm going to pick up this one right here. I missed it, which is fine. All right. And I'll adjust this just a little bit better. And we're good on support, daily support. We're done. Let's check daily resistance, or all the resistance points on this chart. So the two levels we chose have been selected, and then the weekly and the monthly that we had, those have been selected too. I'm going to go down to the 4 hour, and we'll pick up our 4 hour levels. So I'm going to pick up this one here. We'll pick up, it's one right above it. It looks like we got another one right here. And then, and I know I can hear y'all now. How can you see the candles? We can't even see. What you looking at? You looking for your swing high, swing low. Real simple, right? Okay, so that is a low. And once you mark up so many charts, right? Looking at it at all different kind of ways, you'll be able to see it when other people don't. And when it's squished together. Okay. So let's see. I got a low here. I got another low here. I think this is a low right here too. And then we'll pick up here. And then we got one more here that I can see right now. Oh no, it's another one. Now the system probably not gonna pick up all the way down here, but it's good practice, right? Practice makes progress, not perfect. Okay, so I'm looking 1, 2, 3. We chose it selected. It looks like it is a 4 and 5 right here. I'll zoom in on that. We got these. So I'm good. I'm good. On the 4 hour, I'm good. Now I'm not gonna go lower than the 4. I like swing trade opportunities. And so I've figured out that 4 is the lowest that I should be going to find that stuff. Those are the levels that are the strongest. Okay. So we're good. This is a little bit tighter. Okay. So let's back out. Let's take a look at our directional bias, right? So people always ask me, how do you know what direction to run the fib? So I look at my most significant recent price action, right? And so this would be my most recent low. Price is moving in the direction to the upside. I only have enough information to get a swing low and a swing high on this direction. If I tried to run it to the downside on the monthly, there's simply not enough information for me. If I want to get some historical data and just kind of have a better comprehensive view of what's going on, I could start my fib back here, which I'll go ahead and do. That's my most extreme low. And what I see here is that this was the previous fib. We had an A low, we had a B high, we had less than a 38.2 pullback, and our D extension was hit, right? So the sequence is complete. This one is complete. And so after we hit a D extension, typically we expect price to make some sort of rebound, right? Before it continues to the upside. So on this time frame, we don't have a swing low that is formed. Price has pulled back to the 38.2. But now my interest when I go down to the next time frame is I want to see how far this is supposed to travel on the daily time frame to see if we're done in the down direction. So I am going to go to my next screen. I'm gonna link everything. So I look at each time frame, right? I look at various time frames. I have charts for each time frame. So I'm down to my weekly. I'm gonna delete this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run my fib to the downside because on this chart, my most recent significant price action starts from the high, right? I have enough information to get a fib to the downside. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we have our A high, we have our B low, we have our 8-6 pullback until we hit the 118. We've completed the sequence. So at this point, just looking at structure, right? Looking at structure on big picture, my thought would be that we're probably going to push back up somewhere here or here for a potential another push to the downside. But that's me speculating, right? That's me projecting. Let me go ahead and go through my process. So we've completed the extension. And so when I get to my next time frame, which would be my daily, I'm running the fib to the upside. All right. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to leave this as is. I'm going to go to my daily chart. I'm going to go to the low, and then I'm going to run my fib to the upside. And so in this daily time frame, we have an A low, we have a B high, we had a 50% pullback. And so my D extension on this time frame sits right at 133.05. And so I'm going to drop my D extension and we'll label it daily D extension. Oops. If I could spell, y'all. All right, so we'll save it. I'm gonna link it down to the other charts because now this is what I'm working towards. Now that I've figured out where we are, what's going on, this is where I'm working towards. Okay. So I am going to go down to the 4-hour chart. I'm gonna keep running my fib to the upside because this is the North Star. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to minimize that. On the next chart, we'll go over to the 4, and I'm still running to the upside. So I'm going to deploy until my previous fib, A low, B high, 786 pullback, D extension was hit, but we didn't get a swing high that formed until well above that. And so now prices pulled back initially right before the 38.2, but if we look over here, we pulled back to the 38.2. So on the 4-hour time frame, my D extension sits at 132243. I hope I said that right. 132236. We'll keep that. So I'll do 4-hour D extension. So now this is all fine and dandy, right? But it's like, how do I get in? How do I get in? How do I take advantage of what's happening? So what I'm gonna do is my D extension was hit here. There's no need for me to measure this downside movement right here. What I will do is I'm gonna go to the 1 hour. I'm gonna run my fib to the upside, and then I'm gonna see if I can try to find a way in that way. So I'm going to deploy from the low, click below the lowest point, and it gave me 1. Let me see if I move over. There we go. So looking at the previous fib, we had an A low, we had a B high, we had a 8.6 pullback. That D extension was hit there. So now I want to look at this to the downside on the 30-minute. So I'm going to go over to my 30-minute chart, 30 minutes, and I'm going to measure from my high to my low on what we just looked at, right? So we just looked at the fact that the D extension was hit. So now I'm measuring from this high to the low to see if this is done moving to the downside before we're looking for an entry for it to continue to the upside. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna deploy, and this is my current fib. So we've completed these, right? A, B, looks like price pushed up to the 8.6. We hit the D extension. And so now we do have an active fib to the downside, it looks like. But we hit this D extension. This was a buy zone right here. This was the buy zone for this D extension. However, we do have another active fib to the downside. So prices moved to the 618 thus far. I am going to go down to the 15-minute. I will measure from my low to see if this is complete. And then it looks like we're going to, I got to do it on this chart. It looks like we're going to, we are going to, let's see. That's the 15. So this is A low, B high. This looks like 786 pullback. So we may not, this may be going to finish and complete right now. So now I got to move over, figure out how do I get in. So I'm going to move over to my deepest T. This is a C, and deploy. So we got to pull back here. So our next push is here. So it looks like we should push up, and then that has to correct. This assumes that we're getting a swing high once we finish this sequence. And so this would be an area I'm interested in. Uh-oh. And I'm looking at structure, right, in order to determine this. And when I say structure, I'm looking at past support, right? This has been a zone that price has liked. This has been past resistance. This has been past resistance. And so we're coming up on an area where I would imagine that we're going to break through. And then whatever that swing high works out to be, if market opens, we just jump up and complete. I would anticipate that there's going to be some level of pullback. And if I wanted to go ahead and take that buy, right, because it's about 100 pips or so away from a daily D extension, then I'm looking at this zone for right now, because this is all the information I have, right? So look at that this aligns kind of closely with what we're looking at. But I got to wait for more information, to be honest, on GBPUSD. My bias is to the upside, but I need more candles to print to get a precise idea of how to enter this trade. Based on what I have thus far, This is looking like, I'm going to get rid of the fib because I already got the information I need. This is looking like, for me, something like this. And I like to mark out this so that when I'm going through the week and I'm looking for what I'm going to execute and looking to see if price is ready, if I'm not limiting in, I can already see it, right? I've mapped it out. So I know what it is that I'm looking for. So here we go. This is what I think we're going to be looking for. So this is a risk of, let's call it 50 pips. It's really 46, but we'll call it 50 in order to gain 112. It makes sense all day, right? Just under 3-1. So a high two something. That makes sense all day to me. So if you're like, girl, I like what you did, but I have no idea how you did it, and you're interested in wanting to learn how to do this for yourself, I have a mini course that I created that's free, that I encourage you to go through so that you can learn a little bit more about my approach, and just the foundation basically of Forex and how I get here. I think it'll be very helpful to you. You can click the link in the video description to do that. And so what I'm gonna do is I am going to see you guys next week. I'm really excited about next week's video. Um, this is great, right? You guys are going to be able to find setups all day. That's not going to be a problem. I think the biggest thing and what I hear from my students is that risk management is the issue. So I've got something coming that I think you guys are going to be very interested in. Honestly, it's something I wish I would have learned from at the very beginning before I ever knew about a chart. I think that would have saved me a ton of money over the years. But I got something new coming up. So if you're interested in that, I strongly suggest that you go ahead and sign up to be on my list so that when this video drops, that you have first access to it. All right. And that link is in the video description too. So I hope that you guys have a phenomenal trading week, and I will see you next week. And if this video was at all helpful to you, give it a thumbs up and then invite somebody to take a look. Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great week. Bye.